Now, if you're a long way from retirement, Professor Plum, 20, 30 years, even 15 years, you can probably, certainly if you're 20 or 30 years away, you can't really go wrong with a fairly aggressive approach to your 401k.
Well, the further away it is to retirement, there's a couple things going for you that says you should be a little bit more aggressive. One is you don't have much of a portfolio yet, compared to what you're going to have 20, 30 years from now. Mm-hmm. So you don't have a lot of money at risk, so to speak. Maybe it's a big percentage of what you have for today, but it's retirement money. You can't even touch it for 20 years or 30 years if you're 30 years old. And a lot of the money that's going to be there 20, 30 years from now is coming from future contributions you haven't even made yet. So you're dollar cost averaging, so you want to use the volatility, and you've got a long-term time horizon, so you want to accept the volatility so that you can get that better potential rate of return. But when you don't have that, as you get closer to retirement, the idea is that your overall portfolio, the money, as you build that portfolio, remember I said a lot of what you're going to have is coming from future growth and future contributions, but as you get closer to retirement, you've experienced that future growth. You've experienced those future contributions. Now you have some money, and you want to protect what you have. And now you're getting into shorter term time horizons. So we don't have the time horizon for the entire portfolio to go through the pure market type risk exposure. So you want to start pulling back and start reallocating some of the money that's already there. You've been putting in your $18,000 a year, $18,500 now. Maybe you've got up to $50,000, now you're doing your $24,500, and you've got $500,000, $1 million,
nice,
X amount of dollars, whatever number it is. You're getting to a point where you're within the 10 to 15 year time horizon for retirement, maybe even a little shorter. And you're saying, you know what? I don't want to lose what I've already created. I know I've got a 3, 4, 5 year time horizon, maybe a little bit more between now and retirement, but I don't want to have it all at risk. So let's reallocate the portfolio. Take some of the existing portfolio and move it to a less aggressive stance. Maybe that means moving it towards more of a balanced approach. And this is where target date funds, the idea of them seems to make sense on the surface. As you get closer to the target date, the allocation changes from one of fairly aggressive, 95 to 98% in stocks, to less aggressive, maybe 70% stocks, 60, 50. Mm-hmm. And the percentage of stocks in the portfolio going from high to low is what is known as the glide path. It's coming down, and how quickly is it coming down? Those are the things you'd want to know. But generally, they're coming down to be more of a balanced approach by the time you get to there or close to that target date. Which, for the overall portfolio, probably not so bad. At least when you're not actually retired and you're not right there ready to spend the money. But when you're 5 years out, hey, the target date funds work okay for the existing money. But they don't work appropriately for the new money. Now you may say, well, I've got 6 years between now and when I retire. That's great. Let's safen up some of that portfolio. But you're not going to spend 100% of your money the first year. So while you've got a 6 year time horizon, 8 year time horizon between now and when you retire, that's only for some of the money. Some of the money still have the 20, 30 year time horizon. And the reality is the money I'm saving in my check today is the money I'm not going to spend for 15, 20, 30 years. So I can be more aggressive with the dollar cost averaging that I'm continuing to do. Even if I'm retiring next year, the money I'm building up that last year between now and retirement isn't the money I'm going to spend in the first year of retirement. That money should be safe already. Let's take that dollar cost averaging aspect and make it work for ourselves so that we can build money for the future. Okay, so I'm going to retire in a year and roll it over to an IRA. The portion, maybe the market's down and the money I put in, I'm putting it, that $24,000 I put in is only worth, $20,000, $15,000, whatever the number is. I'm going to roll that 15 over to another growth investment inside my IRA. It's a lateral move. And so I could probably even use the same investment. I could probably have the same name, same company, same mutual fund, and if I like it and I want to keep it because I think it's going to recover, I can keep it in my IRA too. Because I have time, because I've already safened up other money. You safen up existing capital that you don't want to lose, and you dollar cost average into with new capital going in.
Often what happens is people will do what we just suggested. I mean, it's not that difficult. I mean, that's fairly common. Safen it up. As you said, target date funds do that. Safen it up the closer you get. But the strategy comes in with the new money going into your 401k every paycheck or however often you do it. That new money should not be allocated across the safe and the aggressive portion of your 401k. It should be the new money should be allocated only toward that aggressive portion. You don't need to add to the safe portion.